Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay here, having a few little technical glitches. I'll do the screen share. You can see what's going on here in a moment. And it'll give me an opportunity to show you how I load my charts as well, how I put the trade manager and stuff on. Just waiting here on the last chart to load. There we go. So if you already have your trade manager and setups saved, when you go to load your trade manager in the morning, really all you need to do is click on your strategies icon, and I just apply it. And things bogging down here a little bit this morning, but there you go. So a fairly straightforward way to put it on, which is why that template on Trade Manager is very helpful. By the way, before you apply it, if you want to make any changes to your Trade Manager, you can certainly make those changes now. But once it's applied, you can no longer change anything. It's hard to see here, but these values actually gray out. The only one that stays black is this enabled tab, which is essentially your on-off button. All right. So here now the NASDAQ. For those of you new in the trading room, I'll just give you a really quick overview. What you're looking at here, this is the complete diversified trading system along with the Raptor. Here in the top left, we have the Hawk Micro Scalper, the Falcon Swing Trader top right, Eagle Trend Trader bottom left, and of course the Raptor here at the bottom right. I like to follow the NASDAQ. I've also got the E-mini and the Russell open on my other monitor. But your questions are most welcome and encouraged. If there's something you don't understand, well, this is the time to ask. So it looks like out of the open, we had a little bit of a run up here. The overnight and yesterday's session remained fairly range bound. No, I won't scroll all the way back, but yesterday you'll remember we had that nice strong rally, and then the market kind of settling in toward the close, staying with, like I said, within that range through the overnight. Here is your first in sync eagle signal. So we have a bearish band and we have a sell signal, and you can see that working out very well. So what's that now? 4 or 5 days in a row that first in sync eagle signal working out very nicely for us. Here on the Raptor, your first in sync signal right here, the number 1 signal, which is your high probability signal. This one could be interpreted as a hard edge bounce. It did not print as a hard edge bounce because your clouds were intertwined, but it is visually still a hard edge bounce with that second hard edge. So you had your first signal opportunity there on both the Eagle and the Raptor. I may have to stop being such a chicken and may have to start trading that, because that signal really performing well. Certainly would be nice to get in, hit your profit target within the first couple minutes of trading, and then call it a day, really. right, so now it's looking as though we're getting a little bit of a pushback. A move back now to the hard edge. The Falcon already printing a trend change signal. And the Hawk now with its first micro macro cross signal. This tends to be a pretty reliable signal, this first micro macro cross. It's one of those signals that when I get it, I'll trade it almost without exception. What do we think? Is there going to be some momentum here? Could I plot a runner? So there's the first micro macro cross. Oh, kind of taken off on me there a bit. Certainly trading high enough to find its first profit objective. And my trade would be at break even. It looks like I would have got tagged at break even. Maybe I should just take the profit on target. All right, we'll set that aside for now. It's still very early. Hey, Tony, great to see you in the room again. Yes, it has been a long time. Yeah, that's true. It's been well over a year since you've been in the room. Nice to have you back. I've actually meant to shoot you an email, see how you've been doing. I was thinking about you the other day. Hadn't seen you for a while in the trading room. All right, so here we are, just kind of churning it out a little bit. We've got equally bullish and bearish pressure on the market right now, as you can see with this little bit of a sideways drift that we're initiating. I do like to draw lines on the swing lows in a downtrending market, not just above the highs, not just doing trend lines like this, but drawing lines across the swing lows sometimes help accentuate what's going on. But I think what's more important here is we've got a little bit of a wedge type formation going on. Oh, it's coming up on quarter to the hour, my least favorite time of the day to trade. The market very often giving you a really inviting looking signal and then going the other way off that 15-minute mark. I hate starting the day with a loss too. Did that yesterday, and in spite of a couple of nice trades to follow, that initial loss kept it from being a decent day. Well, Trade Forecaster suggesting we are in swing mode and migrating towards scalp mode. So that, what does that tell us? So that tells us that the moves are going to become a little bit more erratic, perhaps. Pullbacks maybe a little bit more frequent, a little deeper. right, well, we got another first micro macro cross now here on the hawk. Technically a rule of three here on the eagle. 1, 2, 3 signals, counter trend. And we are looking at a test of the extreme. So the eagle definitely looking more bullish. Remember, with these counter trend signals, you can always use them as an early warning that the trend is changing. We are likely to produce a buy signal here. What bothers me though is that nice move out of the open. Typically, if I see the market paying off in one direction, I'll try to stay with it. All right, here it is, quarter to the hour. We're getting that number one signal. Oh, give me that second push, you stinkers. All right, so there now the second push opportunity, and all that means is I allow the signal to engage, and then I see where the market reacts, and that reaction now becomes my signal bar. I don't think they slipped me on that. Oh, they did. Slipped me for a tick. If we muster a little bit of a rally here, I will become a little bit more aggressive with my stops, I think. We are still within this sideways range, a little bit within this sideways range. You see, what did I tell you about that quarter to the hour signal? Doggone it. Gets me every single time. I should have faded it. I should have done the opposite. No, it doesn't look like they're going to give it to me. I could bring my stop here below the low of the day. That might be enough to hold me in. But really, we've had a fair amount of selling off these lows, or pardon me, buying off these lows. If the buyers don't show up, well, there's not much point in trying to hold on longer. So it looks like I'm going to dig myself a nice little hole again to start the day, which means I'll probably have to revisit the market toward the end of the day, try to dig myself out. There's hope. There's a number 2 signal suggesting maybe, just maybe, the buyers are going to try to rally it up. Okay, a little bit of a rally, but I can't really roll my stops just yet. There is a small amount of hope here. The Geiger counter turning a little bit green, and of course these lows continuing to hold. But until we breach the high of this morning, or at least the high of this little range that we've established, um, I'm kind of trading at a 50-50 proposition here. Yep. Well, I feared that was coming. So next time I want to take that quarter to the hour trade Somebody smacked me on the back of the head. I hate doing that. Also kind of reinforces that earlier trend idea, right? The market's paying off or did pay off to the short side. Therefore, it seems reasonable to stay short. So I got blocked on that number 3 signal, but let's see if we get another opportunity here. Or if the market's just going to continue sideways. That's a possibility as well. Oh no, there they go. So we're making a new low on the morning. And I don't know, is the market in breakout mode? In which case, if you think the market is in breakout mode, these discretionary signals are very helpful. And you can just get ready with on your sell button, and you can wait for the signal to develop. Things could be a little dicey here the next couple of days because, of course, contract expiration on the NASDAQ is rolling up. And there could be more than a few traders migrating to the December contract. Let me just double check the expiration date. Oh yeah, no, we still have a week on it. Although it's probably prudent to get into the December contract by the weekend. Well, we're getting a real mixed bag here this morning. Look at just when it seems like the market is trending, we come back with the hawk. We've got a macro pullback and a 4-arrow consolidation, but then it starts to drift into yellow bars and just keeps printing more sell signals, but it's not going anywhere. The Falcon already getting more bullish. All right, here now, another number 3 signal, this one with trend. Oh, and come on, give me a second push. I'm going to throw my just in case order down there. I don't like to enter on a break of the low like this, but I may not have another opportunity. All right, and I'm going to try to run this one out a little bit. I'll extend my break even and I'll take my profit target down here if I can get it. The market being not very cooperative this morning. Lots of back and forth. Are we in scalp mode yet? Oh, just about, and it's starting to show. Taking a chance here, trying to run this trade out, given it's in scalp mode or fast approaching scalp mode. Oh, look at this. Come on. It's worth noting that sometimes there are days that the market just will not cooperate. You can take what look to be solid signals and the market will still whipsaw you. Now, granted, I'm very late on this number 3 signal. That one kind of slipped past me. Had I taken it on the intended entry, I would have at least hit my high probability profit target, or at the very least my break even. But trying to run it out in this kind of environment is proving to be rather difficult. And I can see that I could be in trouble on this one too. Yeah, they're going to tag me here again because they're breaking these swing highs. Now, normally when you break a swing point, you should see a reaction. This kind of is supposed to be a wake-up call for the sellers that if they're serious, they had better step up and start moving the market lower again. But we're not seeing that, or at least not very aggressively. Oh, well, here the Geiger counter just did get slightly more bearish, but will that be enough? All right, I could roll my stop above this high. I'm not going to start trailing a stop too quickly because of the impending scalp mode, but we'll see how this unfolds here over the next few minutes. And I might be able, if we take out the lows here of the day, there is hope for the trade. Next target being the secondary support zone down here at 74.39 even. Well, we actually came back with a number one signal, which is encouraging. And let's see how the ATR has been holding the market. Do I dare move into the ATR just yet? Look at that, a near perfect bounce off of that first support zone. If we can trade below here, then I think it's probably time to employ the ATR. we go. I'll turn the ATR on, get the stops down. We're essentially at break even at this point. Oh, come on. After all this, you got to let me have that first swing. All right, well, we're making progress. All right, well, if I hit my profit objective down here, I will have done well enough to offset my my earlier loss and put in a tidy profit for the day, although I really have to work on eliminating that first losing trade. I hate putting myself behind the 8 ball like that. All right, well, not quite the follow through I was hoping for, but a decent trade all the same. Took a long time. I would have done better had I taken the number 3 signal as it printed. Unfortunately, I was a little bit slow getting here. And you can see we actually had a decent number 2 signal follow up, but even if I was just staying with trend, I would have been able to pick up another number 1 signal shortly thereafter. And here now, another number 2 signal, and the shorter leg lower almost makes me think that maybe the market is going to consolidate a little bit here. Maybe. All right, well, what do we think? Um, we are still here in scalp mode. The hawk getting a little bit more bullish, as is the falcon here, the raptor producing a number 2 signal, which is our counter trend. And now we're getting that hard edge bounce. So there's the possibility we could get that 2-3-2 setup where we have the counter trend signal followed by the with trend signal. Here we go. There's the with trend signal. And now if this number 3 signal does not follow through and rather comes back with another number 2, that could offer an interesting buying opportunity. All right. If the lows hold, that next signal that produces will be a number 2 signal. The best place to buy it will actually be above this swing right there, because this again is where the sellers have come back into the market. All right, there it is. There's the number 2 signal. I may set it up this way. You could do an OCO on it as well. Once again, I'm showing up a little bit late. But I just feel a little bit more confident buying above that high. No, not following through just yet. You could, we could even OCO this range. In fact, if I get the chance. So OCO simply one cancels other, and we're going to right click to place our OCO orders. And these orders are live when you put them on your chart, so you can set them and then bring them in to where you want them to be. You see, the conflict here is we got number 2 signals printing, we got number 3 signals printing. So the market is in a little bit of a congestion, maybe even in a, yeah, like Mark says here, a consolidation before the next move. All right, so they broke down to the short side again. Let me get a stop going here. So I'll just place my stop above that swing high right there, and we'll see whether we can get any continued follow through to the short side. You can see the consolidation here continuing. Okay, so hit the break even. I'll engage that, and let's see, are we going to be able to get down here to the next support zone? I'll get ready to move back into my ATR stops if the market is going to continue lower from here. All right, so I've got the ATR on again. Darn it, just not getting the follow through. But of course, we are in scalp mode. Shoot. And they come up and tag me out. Well, that was unfortunate. Now we're coming back with, again, that number 2 signal. Well, we'll see. The follow through to the short side does seem to be fading somewhat. Yes, Scott says I should have taken my +2. I am seriously considering a counter trend move here off this number 2 signal, just because the follow through to the short side has not been there, or does not seem to be there. We'll see if they can get above this high now. This little high here looks like around 74.54 half. We could see a little bit of an uptick, a little bit of an up push. No, looks like the sellers aren't done yet, so we'll just cancel that. This is a good example of how using a second push entry can keep you out of a market until it's actually ready to go. Look at that, the very strong follow through. All right, well, let's throw that back there on the shelf for now. Phil says, take a look at what's going on in the Russell, and just a moment here, I will bring the Russell over. And the Russell also very, very bearish. Had that little consolidation period and the bottom falling out of the Russell, as well as the E-mini. So everything really, really bearish here at the moment. Well, while we're doing that or waiting on that, I'll show you a quick way to update your current contract month, and that's simply by going here to your control center, finding your instrument manager. And then if you click on the market that is of interest to you, you click this little right arrow and click the left arrow, it will give you the most active contract month. Right now it looks as though the September contract's still the most active. Tomorrow that will probably change. So I'll look at updating that tomorrow, perhaps. Yeah, Mark says the NASDAQ is leading the markets to the downside. I guess it makes sense to only look for trades in that direction, at least for now. And you're absolutely correct, Mark. The temptation is going to be to try to find the bottom. But, you know, when the market is moving, if you're looking at a chart and there's an obvious trend, you can pick up on these discretionary signals. So here's one right here. I'm just going to demo it for you. But you could just simply short the market off of any of these discretionary signals. Let's see if we can even get down here any lower. But the simple fact that you are with trend, I'm going to raise my stop here a little bit to a more realistic level. But when you have trend, the direction is not the difficult part. The difficult part is stop placement, or at least I think the difficult part is stop placement. Phil asks, Eric, how do you get the vertical red and green lines off of the hawk? I think you're talking about the background highlights. So if you right click and you go here to your indicators and then highlight your hawk, your tool, if you pull down to the very bottom, you're going to see this value here, background opacity. Change the value to 0. And remember to apply. And that should clean up your chart. All right. Well, not much follow through right now. Like I say, the challenge for just picking up a with trend trade is not the direction, rather it's the stop placement. Stops ideally should be 2 swings back. So there's swing 1. This is swing 2 all the way up here. And that's going to make the trade not very affordable for most people. But there's not much else going on here at the moment, so we'll just kind of see how this works out. And I do believe we are still in scalp mode. Yes, we are. Oh, but the good news is we may be moving into trend mode soon. Scalp mode, of course, you're going to see more choppy trading like this. You're going to see bigger pullbacks. And in fact, it's starting to look a lot more bullish right now. So let me get rid of this demo trade, and we'll be on the lookout now for a cloud crossover signal. We're back here in the hard edge. So if the seller's going to pick it up, they're going to have to do it soon. And the hard edge is usually a pretty good spot for them to get back on board. Okay, so what I would like to see happen now is actually a bounce here off of the hard edge, the market come down and give evidence that it can't continue with the downtrend any longer, and then it will come back with a buy signal. That's actually going to be a really drawn out number two signal. It won't print as a number two because it will be too far removed, or very likely it will be too far removed from these lows. But visually, it should still give us that. Okay, well here, I'm just going to get rid of this because we may have a real trade coming up here shortly. Okay, here now the pullback. And this is the market kind of backing itself into a little bit of a corner now. So we're at the hard edge, and we anticipate a reaction here. So if the sellers are going to try to recover the market, they need to do it at this point. And if they fail, well, then the buyers are going to rally the market up. So we're kind of getting the market in a bit of a chokehold. But as Mark suggested too, the trend is down. There's certainly nothing wrong with staying with trend today. All right. I may commit here. Oh, I may commit. I hesitate to say that because they're going to turn around and spank me again. But our clouds almost crossing over. They're really just dead neutral here at the moment. But I might give the nod to the buyers if this little push lower fails and we see another move up. Well, so far the sellers not backing off at all. Okay, here now the retest of the low. If you wanted to be really aggressive, here's even a buy opportunity on the Eagle. It's against trend, of course, but there it is. I'm going to take the signal here on the Raptor if we can get it. Now, all this is a really big number two signal. As you remember, the number two signal is the retest of the low, or in this case, the low, the extreme price, and then evidence that the market can no longer continue with the trend. Once those signal parameters are met, the system will produce a buy signal. And here it is. This is the number two signal now, but it is a very drawn out number two, but the principle remains the same. Try to add a little bit more structure here to the trade. And it is, given the way the market's been bouncing around a little bit today, it's going to be a tough trade regardless. I might have been a little bit early getting on board here, as has been my my problem today. But I'm hoping for a little bit of a consolidation to develop after this rather strong downtrend. Not thinking that the market may give me a full-blown reversal, rather that it will rally at least for the short term. Okay, I think I'll force the trade to break even at this point. Oh, well, there we go. Didn't need to worry about it. I've got my ATR stops enabled, hit my first profit objective, and now we'll see whether or not we get any kind of follow through here. The 74.62 half support zone would make a very nice target if the market can muster a little bit of a rally. Obviously, we got to get above these highs here first. If we can't take out those highs, then it's going to be impossible for the buyers to keep on buying. Okay, you can see they're thinking about it. There's definitely some bearish pressure here, as evidenced by the Geiger counter. Yeah, there we go. So got tagged on the remaining contract, but that still opens up the possibility of another number one signal forming here. And I might be open to another buying attempt. All right. There is this is what I would refer to as an early number one signal. We'll see whether they can put together another rally here. Note the ATR is against where we're at. I will get ready on something like the chandelier strategy, which will be perhaps a little bit more conservative, not quite as aggressive. No, looks like we may have established our sideways trend mode at this point, in which case the market just likely to keep chopping back and forth here for the next little while. All right, gang, I'm going to close up the room here for the time being, and I will see you again tomorrow. Well, if you're going to continue trading today, I think you can anticipate a little bit more sideways trading. The trend, of course, is down, so you may favor signals to the short side, but I would not rule out a bounce higher either. All right, see you again tomorrow. Talk to you then. Bye for now.